Léiriadar faoi cháist, buíon beg fear faoi erim ar ó eisling in a gríthe. A mar an dóibh an tail ó glún go glún. Glún na heislinge agus glún a chunig cuid de chríoch na heislinge. Ina bersa se thugamid onóirt a gumradaí a hit sa chá nó nach maran. Don leichra a tháinig rompa ó na bhuiridar inspiráid. Bíad a chunne lasir na saoirse fadaithe nuair ba leigi í. Bíad a dain an Tine Bheo.
I remember Easter week as vividly as it only happened last year.
I can visualise all the positions again as if I was in them tonight.
I feel that it's part of my life and a lasting memory.
Oh, it's unforgettable, you know. At times, I think it's only a few years ago.
I have lived through the experience many times during the past 50 years.
It's indelibly impressed on my memory, every detail of it.
Christian Wella Clia, lár anad ansmacht gáil is na céta blian, agus hillan faringnah dúirt fua an fabal. I gant na níine, ba téirma malíise an focail Cusleán. Ní lí agus ceart a bheirí a chothraí seachtracha ach ancheart agus anlí.
We regard the Dublin Castle as the centre of British authority in this country.
Well, the Vice-Regal lad was away out in the Phoenix Park, and I don't think it mattered much to the volunteer at that time.
Ach, bhí a hábhacht tain leis an Vice-Regal Lodge. Má bus a Cusleán a bhí ceann éifeachtach na ngáil, bun seo a bhí an ceann riaga. Dál bhíon an fabal chun saoirse mar a léirihé ó hís go hís. Ach ar flásá go néta ar anad an rí, níor hit éon scáil go na hairíthe a bhí le hecht. Thug na héireannaí aontaithe is an lár núd a lún na saoirse. Thugad ar fealsúnach núd óibh chama, poblach dánachas. Ina ní, waar suscéal na saoirse agus enam a phríomh aspil, Wolf Town.
To break the connection with England and assert the independence of my country. These were my objects.
Dain an Tine ríist in my like lia. Agus fuair éire a searclích, Robert Emmet.
It was the wish of my heart to place my country's independence beyond the reach of any power on earth.
Dag na héireannaí óga a suscéal féin le haireacht treis Emmeris agus enam Thomas Davies.
Come what may, we tell you in the name of Ireland that Ireland shall be a nation.
Chuig grísach na bhíníní faoin Tine a bhí ar tí a fadaithe ag uaí I ghonamháin na Rosa.
The defenders of this realm have worked well in secret and in the open. They think that they have pacified Ireland. They think that they have purchased half of us and intimidated the other half. They think that they have foreseen everything, think they have provided against everything. But the fools, the fools, the fools. They have left us our Fenian dead. And while Ireland holds these graves, Ireland unfree shall never be at peace.
Cuireadh sná nús I gréasáin nar a bunaíodh conradh na Gaeilge le spreagra thugláis de héide. Festa, ní raibh an saoirse agus mallart breit os cín an Chusleán. grú aim chultúra leis an bulitíocht.
When the 7 men met in O'Connell Street to found the Gaelic League, they were commencing the Irish Revolution.
Tá mé, tá mé, tá tú, tá tú, tá sé, tá sé, tá sí.
Cénach is agus tá a bháin a thug daonaisteach sa chundra. Fuidir an léargus an éan núis a béidir a thógáil bhain an dúchas. Ba buntlach an dúchas sin an teanga hínsere a bheitchan na teanga náisiúnta san éan nú. Bhain idir pápéir le na susceile chréibh scíle agus ceapú mar agurthóid Páric Mac Pierish.
Ba chuimhne ras na gaoireach go héal, an ihe thug fearr leach lia an leachóing I deachsco le an tolaí vig. Ní ra danam nad a chlinne an bhar chéan a riamh ach fearr leach lia.
Chuan Piersach gur a smog, thóir na Gaeilge, agus thóir síúlacht na naine.
It is a great thing to have heard in childhood the songs of a Tine Bheo, or to have seen a raftery.
Ach ní a son féin a bháin, ach lís a dúchas agus teanga.
I want a missionary, a herald, an Irish-speaking John the Baptist who would go through the Irish West and speak trumpet-toned of nationality to the people of the villages.
Bhí an rá dá húirt.
And I say to my people's masters, beware. Beware of the thing that is coming. Beware of the risen people.
Ba treisiú an dúchas freisin a spreag bunú agus fás an chumainú lúthleas Gael.
The GAA gave a great cover to volunteer companies. It was easy to meet a section of men at a Gaelic athletic club, and it was a good ground for recruits.
San áte maiíoch dína ógach an sport, scatú síal na réimhlóide agus suscéal na headóchanna. Bhí caintear Adam, caintear bhenanna an náisiúna bhíga tréáil a muín neart aramha. Réimhlóid an locht ebre, sná eile sin gréasán. Or bheith an gad sóisialach an ceann bhhaire a scórnach?
The labour fights that the public hears of in Ireland are not signs of mere restlessness. They are the throbbing of the hearts of the worker, aspiring after a civilization that shall make the Irish nation of our time a worthy representative of the free Ireland of the past.
Ba sémas ó Lorcain, ceannaire agus luoch locht ebre bhile clia, gur a deagra sé an Irish Transport Union. Le linn forgóna na bíana 1930, dúirtú fuil ráidnaí bhile clia, son cúis an nú an bháltaise. Cad agrithe agus carta an locht ebre. Ba as seo a gascair an Irish Citizen Army.
Hitherto, the workers of Ireland have fought as part of the armies led by their masters. Now, with arms in their hands, they propose to steer their own course, to carve their own future.
Le fuir a fin agus forsa a farsin, Seorí Séamus ó Conéile. Nuair a bunaíú óglaí na héireann san bhíon 1930, tógiú an chéim deire idir ó éirí amach faoi airim agus a leanachte. Tháinig arcaí le fón agus chuas a món eilúna, ach bhí feib eile le réiteach, aspa airim. A leanach sumpla óglaí alla, tá go airim ón ngearmáin go chuan bhí néidir, agus an lá céanna sin dúirtú fuil ráidnaí bhile clia. Bhí an túr a techt faoin taringreacht. Bhí na hoglaí faoi airim is faoi éidenis, agus na mrá faoi agar a guman na man. Ach cé go ól de chách an chospóid, ní rá éon leide fós faoi am na faoi rá, ach a bheith olaf.
I desire to be enrolled in the Irish Volunteers, founded to secure and maintain the rights and liberties common to all the people of Ireland, without distinctions of creed, class, or politics.
Hánig an tardú le teachna casca, hí deire le olbhú agus tús le gníomh. Bhí an tíre le le neirí agus na teachtarí ag an perscéile. Ach, nuair a bhí cúrla dínta hánig madart cúrla agus marall chuid bhad dá bhár.
A collapsible boat containing a quantity of arms and ammunition was seized at Carahan Strand, Tralee Bay, on Friday morning. A man of unknown nationality, found on the shore close by, was arrested and kept in custody. It is not known where the boat came from or for whom the arms were intended.
Tugu an fear a nachnid faoi gáirde go London, turas a chríochnaí ar an gcraich. Tar éis lechéad bliain a roilig príosún fuair Rory MacAsmhainn ua leach in Lasnain.
The countermanding done a lot of damage.
The military chance was 1,000,000 to 1 against, huh?
Bhí an plan milite cura as a rucht, ach cinniú ar éirí amach cé nach rá éan ebrasara faoin rá an nándóibh.
We haven't a hope in hell. We're going to be slaughtered.
The Provisional Government of the Irish Republic, to the people of Ireland, Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from whom she receives her old tradition of nationhood, Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. In this supreme hour, the Irish nation must, by its valor and discipline, and by the readiness of its children to sacrifice themselves for the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny to which it is called.
Whereas an attempt to incite rebellion in Ireland has been made by a reckless though small body of men, now we do hereby warn all His Majesty's subjects that the sternest measures are being and will be taken for the prompt suppression of the existing disturbances and the restoration of order.
Ag gata an chuisleáin, a scaoileadh an chéad orchar.
The citizen army entered the castle guard room. The policeman attempted to close the gate, and of course he was shot down. The British sentry fired a shot and run into the guard room, followed by our own men who overpowered the guard, and they were tied up with their own puttees. Sean Connolly, who was in command, got over the railings and in through the door of the City Hall. We went up the steps, right up to the roof. And when we got out onto the roof, Sean placed us at various advantageous positions around the roof behind the parapet railing. Well, over the genealogical office in the upper castle yard, there's a clock tower, and it was from that tower that Sean Connolly was shot. And it was from that tower that Charlie Darcy was shot. And it was from that tower that most of the firing come, because it had a commanding position over the roof of the City Hall.
Commandant Naaman de Valera was commandant of the entire 3rd Battalion area. Actually an impossible job, because it was 4 and 5 men at some posts and at dangerous posts where normally you would want about 20 men. There was the gas works, there was this disused distillery, there was Boland's Mills, there was an isolated building on the canal bank known as the granary, there was the railway works on the railway, the bakery was the headquarters all the time. When we entered the bakery there was an abundance of bread and a supply of cheese, and we lived on that for most of the week, in fact for all the week, but bread and tea and tea and bread and cheese, there was no change in the menu. Well, the Commandant sent us Captain Cullen to the distillery to hoist a flag with the view to deceiving the enemy as to what was headquarters. When the flag was hoisted, the British started open intensive firing and also to use the naval gun. One stray shot actually fell into the bakery one day and shattered a bread van, but done no harm to anybody.
Anish hí na chadá ríre. Hit ciog pilir bhuileann í bheoláin agus an na postan na mágúirt. Ai leis an más oban bruniú saidiúí de airpig an taí.
Commandant Mallon occupied Stephen's Green with a very small number of citizen army men and a number of women. Madam Markovic was second in command. The men had little small shovels and picks, and they were digging so deep that they would fit down in the trench, and the clay that they would take was thrown towards the railings and given the trench at a depth, you see. The British military percolated down James Street, and they were able to occupy the Shelbourne Hotel. Concentration of machine guns down on men from a height made it impossible.
Faoin tír, chur an marúil a hála de bhár na termasca cúil an éirí amach. Ach an náitina chruine na hóglaí agus chuidir chun catha. In Ashbourne, chur Tomás Os agus Rusteard an Wilchaha leichéad fear an neagar. Gáidir cheiriveric agus bhuair na póríní I gath oscailt. An frodaíocht na chatadar réamh léirú a bhí an chodaíocht na bhíchadaí I gcuine na frónach. Bíon dug sa láimhsithe trealchrodaíocht I gantar ar a sár ólasacha. Dún daingan tábhachtach a bheith Monarcha Jacobs, lúb eile is slár an mílite an éirí amach.
The officer commanding Jacobs was Commandant Tom McDonough and Major John McBride. He was the second in command. It would be a very hard building to attack from outside. It was very closed in. The streets were very narrow, that they couldn't come close up to you without coming under fire from the garrison in Jacobs. Nobody could get by, not even a fly. Practically there was nobody on the ground floors because all the doors and windows were well barred, you see. And the second floor was occupied, and the third and fourth, and then on the roof. They were sniping from the tower in Jacobs into Portobello Barracks.
Bhí Barrack Portobello in a rail, áitir hála ceann de achtraí danar an na seachtaine, nuair a go anmhas de siúr in a measc Francis Sheehy Skeffington.
The main route into the city was closed by Jacobs. If they were coming down Camden Street, they'd have to come into Wexford Street, Redmond's Hill, down into Ranger Street, into Sir Great George's Street, and down into Dame Street, and into Dublin Castle if necessary. If the military decided to come through Camden Street and onto Redmond's Hill, there would have been a second Mount Street Bridge battle, as they could have never passed that spot.
The Shelbourne and the United Service Club, these were our two bogies because they were giving us plenty of trouble. The Shelbourne with concentrated machine gun fire and the United Service Club with sniping. Now, we weren't any more than about 20 hours, if we were 20 hours in the Green. It was inevitable that we would have to leave once the Shelbourne was occupied by the British. And we all fell back then on the College of Surgeons.
Is mór idir grian agus grástalach leiniú agus fuigean na seachtain úd lechéad blianahain. Tein glún na sírse is spastir a chrín baiche a bhí na páirchacha agus na gomótar tíisi ó gá ré. Cuid an staire nache, agus tháinig na síran isio go díirech fí onáir locht airthe na staire. Ní bhíon ein glún neamhs blach ar an geannach ó rimpe, cé nach de gach glún a gealtar cor a chur a staire linne féin. Is tréan le tarint an dúchis, mar a léri an Chuntis Markiewicz.
From P.H. Pierce, Commander-in-Chief, the Army of the Irish Republic. I desire now, lest I may not have an opportunity later, to pay homage to the gallantry of the soldiers of Irish freedom who have been writing with fire and steel the most glorious chapter in the later history of Ireland. If they do not win this fight, they will at least deserve to win it. But win it they will, although they may win it in death. Already they have done a great thing. They have redeemed Dublin from many shames and made her name splendid among the names of cities.
Deire fyr Lochgarman in nanioin ordithe marulach. Nasca Ellis is stair a bheith óglaí arma ach tamachan in irs cóirí an lán onad céna in ar harla cuide éiriamach 16 Fui scá íana glir, bhí an chada chor an nahhuir ag 600 óglach carmanach fui cheannarí áitiúla. Bhí sé dearnas a teachtain nar a chuas a sheriff in irs cóirí. Bhí scéala faoin ógra géilte cluiste sar ar hosa éoncha. Ach ba an brud tábhachta, gur chruine na féad agus cynnianadar afhochan spirit an verlichis, san náitiará a wuchas choláidir. Bhí uair na hang nuachan taka. Bhí treid dían ilteach a gantar garastún na gera cúrsteanna.
The forecourts, our 1st Battalion area, would cover an area bounded by O'Connell Street, westward. The overall commander was Commandant Edward Daly, Lieutenant Sean Houston, who was in charge of the Mendes City Institute. But the enemy were able to hold the dome under fire. Volunteer Tommy Allen met his death while defending his post in the dome.
I gantar ráin rí huai a harla cuitin na gnífra bo warbara dar hitteamach ar hinnerimach. Chuai cuitin na saidiúí sasannacha le mire de war déan chaha, gur húnwarí agus gur sklár, cuidhór de ná phobal an chantir.
We moved on Tuesday down to the Father Matthew Hall, where a first aid post or hospital had been established, and this was the headquarters until we eventually on the Friday retreated back to the forecourts.
Bhí an cahan an neart agus a golinnéide. Bhí onóir bhile clia a bh chásla emir agus onóir na héan in na chean sin, dáth lánús an náitiar síliacha.
The Citizen Army occupied the College of Surgeons facing the Shelbourne, and we held that, and every morning they opened up with then they went for breakfast or something, you see.
Bhí an bás obans an léir a goláiste na máin lia. Níor bhíntaí áit le éiriamach a gine na crónach a hiú, ná an seo an meas cóirí sort na crónach céna. Ní hégur an chrón róhór a fós a dtín scéil, mun chhlappar san mun tír beltaris. Róháil a hiig, go ma é seo an bulle a chuireach tús na titim na crónach fa chean began blian, agus ní dheachan sampla mú. Ba eis an bláir éirinis de híra a bhí fi chus. An dron a chuir an mun tír beltaris sa gráin, bhíana seach an sír agus fíne sin na síre sin ar an láthir an éiriamach.
A party of volunteers under the command of Commandant M. Kent marched into the South Dublin Union.
I saw the window frames being removed and stacks of large ledger type of books being stacked on the windowsills. And very soon after, firing started. I found it practically, at that stage, impossible to move your head up sufficiently to align your sights. You were buzzing that close from the Royal Hospital.
Cwrw cor rybl yn leoen, agus I fiecl yn leoen dan nochta. Fi is a twrtŵl an y himprichta, agus fi nhart na himprichta chun fechan chwige y gwythi cart cardja.
From the edge of the road at Mount Brown, right through to Rialto, all that area was dominated by the windows, the south-facing windows of the Royal Hospital, of which there were well over 100. And any of our men who survived had to engage in a dangerous crawl, slow crawl, to get back into the buildings.
Janti his nospadeel, Juan Cahinere, ach fos nir vedela forsen ang all, kant agus a gordnan fara wugga. Deire galle een loon, miele far vir channes I Wilise, I het 4 gaan en erm. Vi soele 3 wiele rifle on Jeskert, ach wie een riffeltjen I grinjal na mara. Geloos het er gehoor aan moor, uit er gauw prisoni, agus kudu berg na boli ni fiansi. Han I skele gur aan tarm hokke as kaher na galle agus chooleder ge blaan ree. Rinne er kenners agus koni een woelem, agus beliere foos en njart agus a legge. In de anjoen sin hoed er shelf halle en welle, agus geen lianach kan treid. Chooleder ge kuslaan mai ood, agus rinne koerle. Banu dirre doel la kouwer, agus I kant ween bug a holle money na krok. In Lion Parkhouse er rinne een choorle dirri. Gjal erem nier woorskappe, ach hik kach nach boanskappe gegaan. Gooi om Elisa hartin, dillig sé la wat je noon.
From James Connolly, Commandant General, Dublin Division, Army of the Irish Republic. To soldiers, let us remind you what you have done. For the first time in 700 years, the flag of a free Ireland floats triumphantly in Dublin City. Courage, boys. We are winning. And in the hour of our victory, let us not forget the splendid women who have everywhere stood by us and cheered us on. Never had man or woman a grander cause. Never was a cause more grandly served.
Early on Wednesday morning, very large forces with big supplies and equipment was landing at Dunleary. Every post was alerted because we knew if they were coming our way, it wasn't going to take them long to get from Dunleary even marching to Mount Street, with the consequences that the Battle of Mount Street Bridge developed. Clan William House was dominating the bridge. It was only a few yards from it, just the width of the road. Well, as the British charged the bridge, the men in Clan William House opened rapid fire. Every time a shot went, it got a target because there was short range, and then the British were charging in sort of waves. You couldn't miss them. Well, the British were in front of the parochial hall. Well, the fellas in it, they couldn't very well fire off the Northumberland Road because they couldn't get the range from where they were too far in. So they were then a direct fire out onto the road. Then the target was so dense and thick, it didn't need to be very accurate with your aim, only fire and you were going to hit something. Our advance post is 25 Northumberland Road. Well, when the British come abreast of 25, Lieutenant Malone and Seamus Grace engaged them. So the British concentrated a very heavy fire on it. And of course, under machine gun firing, that no man with a revolver can stand up to it, and they had to withdraw to the back of the house. But the British burst in, and Malone was shot dead at the head of the stairs.
General Sir John Grenfell Maxwell, KCB, KCMG, CVO, DSO, Commanding-in-Chief His Majesty's Forces in Ireland, hereby order that all members of the Irish Volunteer Sinn Féin organisation or of the Citizen Army shall forthwith surrender all arms, ammunition and explosives in their possession to the nearest military authority. Most rigorous measures will be taken by me to stop the loss of life and damage to property which certain misguided persons are causing by their armed resistance to the law.
After a long battle, the British eventually, by sheer weight and numbers, they overcome the men at the Rialto end of the Union. Few volunteers escaped from that end at all. The whole party that was in the corrugated huts on the Rialto side, one lad was killed there, and those that were not killed or wounded were taken prisoner.
Bhí an chathir ina cosir chró, bhí an gaiste a hena, cúl an óglach le falla, agus lón cogaí an síidithe.
The British bored through the south end wall of the nurses' home, found themselves in a porch between the front door and the porch door barricade, and just slung hand grenades over the barricade to the fanlight. And there was heavy fire from our half a dozen men on the landing, an officer and 5 men on the landing. Carl Brewer came in to investigate, and he was unfortunate enough to receive the contents of a hand grenade thrown over the barricade by the British. And they carried Carl Brewer into the kitchen, into the northwest corner of the room, in the most dangerous corner from the point of view of fire over the barricade, because you could see the barricade from there. Brewer had deliberately selected that position to have himself placed. He said, "I'm done, boys. Retreat into the next building." Now, those brothers went through the hole in the wall, climbed this ladder and went down and found themselves inside this big dormitory in the company of the rest of their garrison. How long we were there, I couldn't make an estimate of time at all. But eventually, Kent remarked to Cosgrave, "They cannot have got into the nurses' home. They're still firing on it." Then Kent stood up and turned round to the garrison. He said, "I want 2 men to volunteer to back me to the nurses' home." But when Kent came back, there was a knowing look, the next thing to a wink from Colonel Brewer. Kent went over then and bent down over Colonel Brewer in a kind of a broken voice. He said, "Cattle."
In order to prevent the further slaughter of Dublin citizens, and in the hope of saving the lives of our followers now surrounded and hopelessly outnumbered, the members of the provisional government present at headquarters have agreed to an unconditional surrender, and the commandants of the various districts in the city and country will order their commands to lay down arms.
I agree to these conditions for the men only under my own command in the Moore Street district, and for the men of the Stephen's Green command.
Bhí an cá arma cáilte. A chuir bhuiir an dhéilte héin, bhí síal nó raibhlóide nó ag ascar faoi chuim. Seo héad na fid a leanach chun treid agus a racha chun táisí na saoirse. As a líon a go ceanirí a teóró cogan na saoirse, mar hampla an prísónach, Éman de Valera. Agus íráin na staire, an prísúnach a díruch an báis ina bhuachtará. I measc na milí a hínín sé, teannach ar an dirir le pinós an bháis. An teachan na gcónaín sé, ba anna chonaíoch riche hasanna ar cuairt. Thug an taharú a cuarsa ar fad, ach ní bháin réir cóirí sóirt. Ní bhanan saoirse i riamh, agus mallart breit os cínan chuisleáin. an neistir de verli ó amsir an éan nach eintí heile, runne é oscailte nehhuir chun ghlacha le fuil an airí amach. An tinne a fadiú in imach seachtainna bhí sí múchta ríist agus an drama bhúch in an máisterí ar an maon bag a dadaí. Críanna do réir a sailse héin, chuidir chun a dhéimhnú go má ada ríist go dárlacha le héad agus go dúr fií an tír chun mínadis. Bhí na ceanirí ina sellh agus ar an neolalas. An níana dís lo faoi mar barráló in am ris.
In view of the gravity of the rebellion, the General Officer Commanding-in-Chief has found it imperative to inflict the most severe sentences on the known organizers of this most detestable rising. The following have been tried by Field General Courts-Martial and sentenced to death. Patrick H. Pierce, Thomas McDonough, Thomas J. Clark, Joseph Plunkett, Edward Daly, Michael O'Hanrahan, William Pierce, John McBride, Cornelius Colbert, Michael Mellin, Edmund Kent, John J. Houston, John McDermott, and James Connolly.
Nírbúchú grísach na tinne, as a cartlás a deire an Phoenix, an éire nú in a marimid. Da horra, glún ar a gú sir is stát sir. Glún o tan anas blachas ar a chur a núl tín an eislinge hiskint agus a chur a grích in a omlaine. Dan a sirir a dionaitir lichra, is ní lein glún neafs blach ar an glún a chorinte.
Guard Specialta! Ready! Guard Specialta! Hurry!
Deiridor fwy chosg, buin bug far fwy erim. As a maas sha honig shed chun bua, as a mua sha cyfnidir arra, as a nashling agus as a gosboir. Marshin sha honig shed fein, den a meo, an loon sha gweil, et turstian numosh.
They shall be spoken of among their people. The generations shall remember them and call them blessed.